First, just want to credit Evansville. I told Rags for the game and after the game, what he's done there is tremendous. Putting that roster together, they were shorthanded tonight, without their leading scorer. He's just done a great job, putting that team together and doing it, with all kinds of guys. They're best players, NAIA player, but they got a D2 guy, a couple of JUCO guys, international. They've been able to go all over the place and grab guys. And, he's just put together a really good team. They're explosive. They're hard to guard. They have a lot of ways to come at you. And I thought it was a great sign for them from a cultural standpoint that, up 25, two things can be true. We were abysmal the last 10 minutes. We stopped playing, but they didn't. They kept competing, and that's a real credit to the culture he's building there. And so I told our guys in the locker room, we're not going to apologize for wins. It's hard to win in this league. We did a lot of good things to build a 25-point cushion. Thankfully, it was 25 because we gave almost every single point of that back. And that's now, when you look at Ball State, a pattern. And it's a pattern that we're going to have to fix. If we don't, it's gonna rear its head and bite us. So, we'll come back to work. It's on me to make sure the message is getting home. And obviously it didn't after December 16th. So I got to figure out a better way to deliver that message because unacceptable. And it started on the defensive end with back-to-back back cuts and then some loose play on the offensive end and just snowballed from there. And, Toomey makes that shot to cut it to 8 and it's a game at that point.
Coach Schertz, what do you see from Jabo? His last 3 games, he's hitting a lot of threes. He's providing that leadership. He's providing more toughness as well on defense when he's coming out. He's giving you guys a different look with small ball. There's a lot in there, but what can you just see from him in the last couple of games, and what kind of boost he's giving you off the bench?
He's been awesome. He's been really good all year, but the last few games, like you said, he's been at a different level. He's shooting the ball with so much confidence. He works so hard at it. I've got to do a better job of figuring out our depth. We got to have better production off the bench, and that's on me to find and look at guys. I'm obviously trying to give guys opportunities, but guys got to be more productive, and I got to look at other guys too. I'm just not getting enough, off the bench. But he, has been spectacular off the bench and really a one-man wrecking crew. And like you said, playing the, perimeter, playing the small ball 5, operating as a hub of the offense, playing off the ball. He's playing like you'd expect a 6-year senior to do. And he's just, we're not, he's as valuable a piece as we have because of the versatility he's giving us offensively, defensively. We were struggling. Robbie, I thought, defensively in the first half, he was having, his issues, obviously. And Jabo came in and I thought, really kind of steadied the tide there. And then I think, second half, obviously just some huge shots. And when we went on that run, he was a huge part of that. But then, too, he was, and he knows he gave up the 2 back doors to start the run back. So that's why he got taken out, and he's got to be better because, like I said, we stopped competing and they didn't, and that's a credit to them and a discredit to us. But it's not an Elam ending. There's a time and a score, and we stopped competing inside the game. But we don't get to that 25-point lead without him, and we're not 12-2 without him. He's been fantastic for us here in this season.
This team, we've seen, not to harp on the second half a lot. We've seen you guys put your foot down and kind of really step on the guy when you're up 20, when you're up 15. And like you said, the last few times, we haven't seen that.
Right.
Is there any idea of what's been different, for your team as where that killer instinct seems to have kind of gone?
I don't know. I mean, is it guys playing too many minutes, or guys losing focus? I think human nature is that when you're up, you tend to relax. And the opponent, tends to also relax because the basket gets, you're down 25, the basket gets bigger. I mean, there's not pressure shooting, and then you tend to relax defensively. But to be elite, you can't allow human nature to creep in anything you do, right? I mean, just because it's understandable doesn't make it acceptable. And I think that's where we are. So whether it's, hey, maybe we got to play guys less minutes, but to play guys less minutes, we got to have more production off the bench. So I have to figure out, how to get that. I apologize in there. I told them I should have played Mace tonight. Mason Miller, his energy. He's going to play hard every possession and, stick some shots. And I didn't. Jaden Daughtry's trending in a good direction. So I've got to figure out some things from a depth standpoint. That's on me. But either way, like you said, we haven't had great depth all year, and we've been able to put a lot of teams away. And so I don't know that it's that. I think it's more of guys really feeling like, playing the scoreboard and relaxing. Because if you look at the Tennessee State game, with 10 minutes to go, we were down and we won by 21. So we were lights out the last 10 minutes, so it's not, I think it's very much right now that we're playing the scoreboard and allowing that to dictate our competitive level. It's kind of like you go into take the temperature, right? Like, how hard do I got to play versus just competing as hard as you possibly can. You're trying to take the temperature of how hard do I got to compete, or put on a show for the crowd, or whatever it is, and you get away from, what makes you good, and you could see it on both ends of the floor, and it just kind of unraveled very quickly for us, and nearly cost us. I mean, it got to, like I said, with 8 when Toomey made that shot. I mean, Ryan makes a big play there to get a bucket, but it certainly got way closer than for comfort in terms of what it should have been.
Scoring wise, I mean, I asked Jubba and Ryan too. We've seen one guy go out there and have a great night. We've seen him light up the score box, and another guy have double digits. When you look in your box tonight, you see so many guys with double figures. 2 guys with 18. Testament to just the guys you're recruiting fitting that offensive style for you, or do you think it's really one of those like, hey, we really are kind of a well-oiled machine when we are running and clicking the way that we're capable of?
Yeah, I think when we're playing, we talked before the game, and it's ironic. The thing I told them was, leaving Michigan State was like, we know when we play to our identity on both ends of the floor, we're as good as anybody. And I don't mean anybody in the Valley. I think anybody in the country. And I think we just have right now, and this is for most teams, it's getting to that identity as often in the 40 minutes as you can. And I thought, our offensive identity first half was pretty good. We scored 48, but our defensive identity, we gave up 37 points on 38 possessions, so a little under 1, but I didn't think we were very good defensively at all. I thought they honestly missed some shots that were makeable, and our defensive numbers looked better than what the reality was. And then I thought second half, for that stretch, we were to our identity on both ends, and part of our identity is, our defense and our rebounding. That fuels the offense. When we're at our best is when we're in the open court and playing fast. Well, starts with getting stops and getting rebounds and getting out in transition. And so that's where, when we're clicking on both ends, I think, this is a really, really good basketball team. But the last couple times, it's kind of plateaued. Like Michigan State, we competed the whole game. Tonight we didn't. Ball State we didn't. So it's finding the balance of, we can't let perceived whatever score dictate the level of intensity. And again, that's human nature, but that's not acceptable, because as soon as you leave for the gas, like we've seen with Ball State got to 4, tonight got to 8. You can lose those games. And it was eminently possible at 80-72 with 2+ to play that we'd lose a 25-point lead in the final 10 minutes, and that'd be all over everywhere. It should be, but we steadied the tide, we won, and now tomorrow we got to go back, and I think the key is to look at what we did well to get that 25-point lead, and then let's look at what we didn't do, and look at. But in terms of the offensive balance, which I guess is the original part of the question, I think we have a lot of guys. We have 6 guys right now that are really in rhythm offensively and fit each other. I've got to get more guys in there, but those 6 guys are pretty special. And when they're clicking, and again, the clicking starts in the defensive end and with defensive rebounding. It's fun to watch, but we just got to get to the identity on both ends more consistently, and really they're tied together.
Turnover battle.
Yeah.
You go your way today. Is that just rags knew what you guys were going to do. The scouting report in Indiana State is, get up down the floor, quick passes, try to get, three, try to whatever. I mean,
I think they're very long. They're probably the biggest from a standing height team in the Valley. They play lineups out there at times with, Hughes is 6'11", Toomey 6'10", and Huff, Cuff is, whatever it is, Cuff is 6'7", 6'8". So I mean, they have some big long lineups, and they get their hands on a lot of balls. I thought we tried to hit some home runs. I thought we had some really I thought some of them were forced, but I mean, we had a couple of transition turnovers that were just really bad. We tried to throw a couple back doors that weren't there, and you gotta, that's part of the trade-off is you're gonna have some of those turnovers because we do thread the needle sometimes and get those no dribble layups. But I thought too many unforced turnovers, too many transition turnovers, too many times we were trying to make plays that weren't there. But yeah, Rag's defense is good. They're one of the better defenses in the Missouri Valley, and they're long and athletic, and they get their hands on a lot of balls. And so, combination of both things. We got to be better and cleaner, but they do force you into some turnovers. So it's both.
Last one I have for you, Coach. I mean, obviously, you're not going to talk about anything behind the scenes, but Schertz stepping down, leaving. Obviously, he brought you here. Just what has that friendship, that relationship meant to you for the last few years? Yeah,
Sherrard is I'm eternally indebted to him. I really am. He's become last 2.5 years a great friend. He's the guy who believed in me. He's the one who hired me. I know there was a lot of internal pressure, probably not to, and to go with somebody else. And he brought me here. He's the first year when we really struggled, he would bring me in and there was a lot of, people were, you remember, Marty, the fire Schertz hashtags and that were all over Twitter and everywhere else. I had to figure out to turn my notifications off. But he would, adversity's true serum, right? You learn about who somebody is when you go through tough times with them. And I learned, who he is. And, as you said, I'm not going to comment on all the other stuff, but, he's and will forever be a really good friend. I'm forever indebted to him. I'm forever appreciative of him, not just him, but Monica. They're great friends to Natalia and I, and wish him nothing but, the very best moving forward. He's a special man, a great guy. They're a great family, and, it's sad for me, but, this is a part of the business, and my job is to put my head down, go to work, and pour into this team and into this job, and I'm going to continue to do that. And we all, I think all of us at Indiana State wish him nothing but the very best.